Hey, Mandyverse. I just wanted to have a kind of raw little rant about one of the things that we were working on this week. So my daughter has a trip go abroad coming up. Her American passport needs to be renewed and her UK passport needs to be renewed. Being that she's leaving from the UK, we made the UK one our priority. So I absolutely forgot about it. I've known about this trip for months, but I forgot about renewing her passport until last Thursday or Friday. So my partner and I were sitting at the table. We're like, oh my God, we need to do this. We did it right away. As soon as we thought about it, we got all of it online. It might have even been over the weekend, to be honest, because I remember us thinking this way, as soon as they come in Monday morning, they'll have all the paperwork. And then they said it's 3 to 4 weeks typically. So there'll be in plenty of time for her trip. So we were like, this way, everything will be done and it'll be ready to go. We can start the clock on Monday. And we made sure that we sent all the documents Monday overnight, right? So that they got it right away. So they could start the clock could start ticking right away. We did everything online. We took her picture and uploaded it online, all that stuff, submitted all the documentation. On Tuesday afternoon, we got an email saying, hey, we received the documentation, right? That it was the package was delivered yesterday. So that was Monday and Tuesday. Yesterday, Thursday, we got an email saying all of your stuff has been processed. Everything is in the mail on its way back to you. Priority mail. You should have it tomorrow or Monday at the latest. I came to get the mail this morning. It was in the mail, along with all the documents that we submitted. We received everything within a week. Within a week, y'all. We didn't have to talk to anyone. We didn't have to go to have any kind of meetings with anybody, nothing. We just had to submit everything online, make sure the paperwork got there, and then we got the approval and her new passport within a week. Delivered to our house, not just approved in a week, actually delivered tangibly in my hands. Her American passport needs to be renewed. We have to make an appointment with the American Embassy in London. I have to take a day off of work. My partner has to take a day off of work. We have to take our child out of school in order to attend this appointment because, of course, I don't really have Saturday appointments. We have to bring all the documentation, all of her previous passports, including all of her British documentation and passports. We have to have a meeting with someone. We have to submit all the passports. We have to wait for their approval that day. Then from that day, it takes 4 to 6 weeks at least to find out if her passport's renewed and to get the actual passport in our hand. Now, I know some of you are going to say, well, we live abroad now, so they're taking extra precaution. That wasn't the case. When we applied for her passport as a child, we did have to make initially in the US, we did have to make the appointment and we had to go and have a conversation with people. Both myself and my partner had to be there. She had to be there. She had to take her picture there. At that point, no previous pictures or anything. They had a small little Q&A with her. We were present, of course, but they asked her a couple questions. They asked us a bunch of questions. And then all the paperwork was submitted. And then within 6 to 8 weeks, we got her passport. So it was pretty much the same procedure, even when we were in the US to get the US passport as being here in the UK. Maybe there might be a longer timeline, processing the renewal because we're here in the UK. That could be. But you still have to go through almost the same exact process. When we were in the United States applying for her UK passport, we submitted everything online. We had to mail the documentation, the same exact procedures we did for the renewal, took a picture up against one of my blank white walls. I like my blank white walls, and submitted it, and it was fine. We had, because it was the initial application, we had to verify that she had family that were British citizens and she had that lineage, that she was able to become a British citizen and all of that. So that took, an extra week. But we got her passport delivered to us in the United States within, I think, 4 weeks, 5 weeks of the initial hitting send on the computer and sending the paperwork in. I mean, I know all governments have their issues and everyone has a right to talk about how negative the issues are, negative the government is right now in the UK and how they're handling things. Definitely can be improved. I'm not trying to take anything away from that. But I only wanted to illustrate that because it can always be worse, y'all. It can always be so much worse. I don't understand why the United States government insists on making things so bureaucratic and complicated If you're initially applying for a passport, I understand that you might need to meet face to face with someone. My child didn't have to. I didn't even have to talk to anybody for my visa. For our visa, we didn't have to step inside a government building at all. I had to go to a private facility to get my fingerprints and eye retina scan, but it was a government building, but it was like an outsourced government building. It wasn't even an official UK government building in the US, or even a US. Sorry, it was a US government building in the US when I was applying for my visa that I had to do all of my fingerprinting and eye retina scan. That's it. That's all I had to do. Except for fill out a bunch of paperwork and submit a bunch of documentation. That part's tedious and annoying, but I didn't have to go into have a conversation with anybody. I didn't have to talk to anybody from the officials. I didn't have to be in person. It didn't have to be this big to do. When we were applying for my partner's green card, which is the equivalent of indefinite leave to remain in the United States, we had to have an interview, the 2 of us. We had to bring all of our documentation with us. They asked us all kinds of questions about our relationship and the validity of our marriage and, our lineages and all of like, it was insane the amount of complication and pressure that they put on us. And when I had to apply for my visa, it was nothing comparatively, right? It was still stressful and annoying. We had some unforeseen circumstances happen at my specific unique situation, and that had to do with timing, but it's just insane to me how different it is when you're applying for those they're equivalent things, right? And the US has this thing about the UK, it's all backwards and behind the times and all that kind of stuff because they don't have, you know, big brand new skyscrapers every 5 minutes, and they don't have the latest and greatest clothes if they are on the rack or whatever their freaking excuses are for that. Wow. Just an absolute wow as the difference in cultures. I'm just kind of speechless. We were worried that, it was gonna take an extra amount of time to get it processed and that she might have trouble with her trip. But I don't know why I was worried because every single instance that I have had in dealing with the UK as far as visas and passports I've never had an issue. Whereas with the US, I've always had an issue. We need like 6 points of identification to renew our driver's license in the US. Our driver's license. We have to go in person and show all of this documentation, have our picture taken there, all of that kind of stuff to renew a driver's license. And in the UK, I can do my freaking visa practically online, except for my fingerprints. Crazy. It's just insane. I just had to have that little rant. Anyway, there you go.